Seth Rollins and WWE not at odds. Cody Rhodes segment on Raw brutally bashed. Brock Lesnar refused to wrestle WWE legend. Logan Paul winning the Money in the Bank. Bray Wyatt fired. Let's jump right into it. Report on Vince McMahon at WWE Raw Backstage this week. After announcing his retirement last year, Vince McMahon returned to the board as the executive chairman several months ago. It was reported that he was heavily involved in the April 3 episode of Raw, which took place after WrestleMania 39. The executive chairman was spotted with a new look at the 2023 WWE Hall of Fame ceremony earlier this month. It was also reported that he was backstage at the grandest stage of them all, sitting in the gorilla position. However, the capacity of his involvement during the show was not disclosed. According to Fightful Select, Vince McMahon was not backstage on Raw this past Monday night. The show was well received by fans, and it ended with a massive brawl between the Bood Line, Judgment Day, LWO, Matt Riddle, Sami Zayn, and Kevin Owens. Triple H has been responsible for the creative since his father-in-law's initial retirement last year. The Game was appointed as the new chief content officer of WWE. Under his regime, numerous stars made their return to the company. Speaking on Like Shit Live, Nick Khan clarified that Triple H is still the head of WWE Creative and that he and Vince McMahon can exchange creative ideas. Paul, Triple H, and Vince have a family relationship, a relationship that stands back to the mid-90s. Paul's in charge of creative. If he wants input from Vince or Vince has ideas, then he and Paul are going to communicate. That's always going to be the case. We're lucky to have Vince. We're lucky to have Paul in control of creative, said Nick Khan. Triple H appeared on SmackDown 2 weeks ago, announcing the return of the WWE Draft. He stated that this year's edition will change the game. Would you like to see Vince back in creative? Sound off in the comments below. Cody Rhodes segment on Raw brutally bashed. Former WWE head writer Vince Russo heavily criticized the segment involving Cody Rhodes and Brock Lesnar on Raw. On the most recent episode of Monday Night Raw, the American Nightmare came out and asked Adam Pearce for a match against Brock Lesnar. While Pearce agreed to give him a match at Backlash, Rhodes went on to attack the latter, but was stopped by security guard. While speaking on the latest edition of Sportskeeda Wrestling's Legion of Raw, Vince Russo was critical of the segment, pointing out that the security guards who were assigned to stop Cody weren't believable. The veteran detailed, "Just so you guys know, all these security guards are independent wrestlers, or maybe they're just starting out at NXT, whatever. They're local indie wrestlers, that's who all these security guards are. Bro, do they not know how ridiculous it looks, bro, when all these security guards get in the ring and Chris, from every angle, every one of them Chris was doing acts like the security guard. There was 10 guys, do they not know how stupid that looks, bro?" Vince Russo gave his honest opinion on Cody Rhodes' segment on this week's episode of Raw. In continuation of the interview, Russo mentioned that a lot of things were wrong in the American Nightmare's recent segment on Raw. He mocked WWE for poorly booking Rhodes. The veteran sarcastically pointed out how Rhodes wasn't stopped from having a match while having a torn pectoral muscle. Russo detailed, "There's so many things wrong with this segment." So Cody goes out there, here comes Adam Pearce, and he tells Cody, "You're not medically cleared to be here. Wouldn't they have had all day to take care of that?" Not only that, when Cody wrestled with the purple torn pec, I guess he was cleared to wrestle back then. They didn't care about him then, but now he's not cleared. It will be interesting to see what plans WWE has going forward for Cody Rhodes. Brock Lesnar refused to wrestle WWE legend. WWE legend Brock Lesnar once made it clear that he wasn't interested in facing Hardcore Holly in a TV match. By March 2004, the Beast incarnate had made up his mind about his future. He didn't want to stay in WWE anymore. Lesnar put over Eddie Guerrero in the main event of No Way Out 2004 and was scheduled to take on Goldberg at WrestleMania XX. When Brock Lesnar showed up for an episode of WWE SmackDown on the road to WrestleMania XX, he was informed about his match that night. When Lesnar learned that he was set to take on Hardcore Holly in a 9-minute bout, he ostensibly blew a gasket. "When I showed up at the building in Savannah, the producer told me I was supposed to go 9 minutes on TV with Bob Holly. I blew a gasket. I went straight to Jared Briscoe and told him, 'You recruited, so I want you to know I'm leaving. I'm out of here.'" Brock Lesnar had a chat with Vince McMahon soon after, and the WWE chairman managed to convince him to face Holly. The Beast incarnate did succeed in trimming down the match by a few minutes. He made quick work of Holly that night, took a shower, and left the arena immediately after. Brock Lesnar lost to Goldberg at WrestleMania XX in what many fans view as one of their least favorite Mania matches. He left WWE on a bad note, and his relationship with McMahon was sour for quite some time following his exit from the company. The former WWE champion ended up making his way back to WWE in 2012. He has been a mainstay in the company since then and has established himself as one of the most fierce and dangerous athletes in WWE history. Do you recall Lesnar's forgotten outing with Hardcore Holly on the road to WrestleMania XX in 2004? Let us know in the comments section below. Logan Paul winning the Money in in the Bank. WWE Money in the Bank is scheduled to take place at the O2 Arena in London, England on July 1, 2023. For the last 3 years, Roman Reigns has managed to stay out of Mr. Money in the Bank's crosshair. This year, there is no other option but to cash in on the Tribal Chief should the contract be exclusive to the World Championships. Last year's winner, Austin Theory, targeting the United States champion, may have diminished the aura of the briefcase a tad, having previously managed to achieve a status similar to the annual Royal Rumble match. Triple H and the WWE creative team may be looking to restore the prestige of the MITB contract. Logan Paul was recently pitched by a WWE panelist as the right guy to receive the honor of winning the annual ladder match. However, fans want none of that. Most of them are against the Maverick becoming Mr. Money in the Bank. Some fans believe that with Vince McMahon having returned to WWE and having control in some capacity, the former chairman could pull the trigger on Logan Paul successfully cashing in on Roman Reigns. Meanwhile, a large section of fans are rooting for SmackDown star LA Knight to walk out of the O2 Arena with the ITB briefcase. As of this writing, the company has a plethora of options, but LA Knight and Logan Paul seem to be the frontrunners on the rumor mill, with the SmackDown star being the crowd favorite. The Tribal Chief has been on top of the mountain since late 2020 and is still going strong. While The Miz cashed in on Drew McIntyre during the pandemic, Big E cashed in the following year on Bobby Lashley, with Reigns currently a double champion. Who could be the one to finally dethrone him? Veteran journalist Bill Apter recently spoke to Sportskeeda Wrestling's The Wrestling Time Machine, hosted by Mac Davis. Apter believes Gunther, who has an ongoing streak of his own as the WWE Intercontinental Champion, is the next top contender for the Tribal Chief's titles. They haven't talked a lot about this, but I think in terms of a top contender for the undisputed Universal Championship, I would pay to see Roman Reigns or Brock Lesnar against Gunther, said Bill Apter. The Ring General proclaimed during WrestleMania weekend earlier this month that he will break a current record and make it to next year's Show of Shows main event at Lincoln Financial Field in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Who do you think should become Mr. Money in the Bank this year? Sound off in the comments section below. Bray Wyatt fired. Bray Wyatt's momentum in WWE has stalled massively ever since he's been absent from our screens. According to a new report, it looks like he might not return anytime soon. The new face of fear looked to grab every fan's attention with his grand return to the company at last year's Extreme Rules Premium Live event. But just a few months later, Wyatt vanished in the midst of his feud with Bobby Lashley leading up to WrestleMania 39. Many fans were let down by the proceedings and are now waiting on a follow-up from Bray Wyatt to tease his return back to WWE. According to Zero News, they may have to wait a bit longer as Wyatt is allegedly still dealing with health issues. It was also mentioned that WWE possibly won't even mention Bray in the draft picks for the Raw and SmackDown brands. Bray Wyatt is still far off a return and has been pulled from internal run sheet, possibly won't even be mentioned at the draft at all. Health issues, they are looking into it to avoid complications in the future, but no timetable for his return as it stands #BWE and a source. The report will be quite concerning to Wyatt's fans, who are eagerly anticipating his return in hopes of getting to know his and Uncle Howdy's story much deeper. The Eater of Worlds have been shaping up his story leading to WrestleMania 39 amidst his feud with Bobby Lashley, but it suddenly all stopped. Bray Wyatt was quickly taken off of TV and wasn't present throughout WrestleMania weekend. It was then reported that the former Universal Champion was suffering from health issues. According to a recent report from Ringside News, it seems he is still dealing with those issues and not many people know of his return schedule. The report mentioned that Wyatt's status is being kept top secret backstage and there is not much chatter going around about him. No one here knows top level information and it's not flowing down, a member of WWE Creative told Ringside News. There has been no concrete evidence in regards to when we could see the Eater of Worlds return to WWE, and it seems we might have to wait longer than expected to see him in action. Are you a fan of Bray Wyatt's current run in WWE? Sound off in the comments section below. Seth Rollins and WWE are not at odds. According to the latest reports, Seth Rollins and WWE are not at odds following rumors that he stormed out of a recent show. After WrestleMania 39, WWE Raw was in disarray with Vince McMahon in charge of the creative side. The Visionary appeared on the show during a perplexing period when he came down to the ring, but did not say anything. His moment was supposedly stolen from him, and as he arrived with supporters screaming his song, the show cut to a commercial. Following the event, a video of Rollins having a furious argument with the production staff during a commercial break went viral as he walked out of Raw after the incident. However, Scene Ross Sapa Fightful has revealed that things are apparently fine and that there are no backstage conflicts between Rollins and WWE. Although Rollins' future in the organization initially appeared bleak, it all changed last night when he was scheduled for WWE Raw in a bout against The Miz. The report also stated that the encounter received great feedback backstage and from WWE fans. According to WWE Hall of Famer Bubba Ray Dudley, Eka Bully Ray, a storyline involving Seth Rollins and Trish Stratus would make sense. Stratus recently deceived Rollins' real-life wife and WWE superstar Becky Lynch. The WWE Hall of Famer's heel turn occurred immediately after Raquel Rodriguez and Liv Morgan defeated them in a tag team championship bout. Bully Ray discussed how Stratus could try to influence Rollins as part of her feud with Lynch on a recent episode of the Busted Open podcast. You want to really make it personal. We know that Trish can be a bit of a temptress, right? 20 years ago, she was playing the temptress role very well. I don't know, maybe you have Trish hanging around where Seth Rollins is hanging around, Ray said. A non-PG plot involving Rollins and Stratus will surely be a risky creative move for WWE. Whether the Stanford-based corporation will follow through on this remains to be seen. Do you think Seth Rollins would be happy in WWE? Sound off in the comments section below.
I can feel the blood creeping up from the heathens. Got will, got fight, got pride, got reason. If they wanna go eat, then you know I'm gon' feed them. If you're coming for me, hope you're ready for a demon. I got eyes in the back of my head, I'm seeing. Take me